Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here tonight. Hopefully you guys are all enjoying WWE Extreme Rules. This is going to be me doing my live continuous coverage of videos throughout the show. And the pre-show did not seem to not deliver today. Everybody knew about the story that was looming over WWE Extreme Rules and Daniel Bryan with the injury, with him being sent home from the European tour. People were thinking that he wasn't going to be able to wrestle, but tonight we finally got our answer. Daniel Bryan was not able to wrestle. He was not able to get physically cleared, and instead we were treated to a new pre-show match of Bad News Barrett against Adrian Neville. Neville making his debut to WWE pay-per-view. I guess really not, since this is on the pre-show, but we ended up having a match between Bad News Barrett and Neville, trying to kill some time on the pre-show and trying to make sure that everybody went home happy. Neville is a guy that I've heard the greatest things about, and I was able to watch his run throughout NXT, and I was really impressed with him. I wish I would have been able to say that I watched him throughout the Indies wrestle as Pac, but you can tell that this guy is going to be a big star in the WWE in the upcoming time. He's had some really good matches against Sheamus, against Rollins. You can sort of see that right now they have him penciled in as a mid-carder. He's not going to be a guy that's going to go straight to the top, but you're not going to be able to hold a guy like this down, and this was a good way to open up the show. Barrett, I thought he was going to be able to muscle around Neville in this, but he went for the bullhammer really early into the match, and Neville used a high kick and then hit him with the red arrow, and that's able to get the win for him, and Neville getting his first win on the pay-per-view pre-show. Honestly, was a really good kick to his career. It was a very good replacement match. I know that there was a lot of things floating around about anything that could have happened. I thought of the in-your-house sort of strategy where basically Shawn Michaels wasn't able to wrestle, and he had a match against Dean Douglas where they stripped Dean Douglas. I apologize. They stripped Shawn Michaels and gave the championship to Dean Douglas, who then went on to wrestle a match against Razor Ramon. Razor ended up winning the championships, and Dean was a champion for a good 10-12 minutes, however long that was. But a very good match from Neville. A few good acrobatic spots that you would come to get used to. But this he's only going to get better. And him being in WWE and being wrestling on the main stage instead of being down there in NXT, he's only going to have bigger spots to do his big cool dives. And you can tell that this guy's going to get over sooner than later. In the opening match of WWE Extreme Rules 2015, we saw Luke Harper come out against Dean Ambrose. And Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper, they were both looking for a fight in this Chicago street fight. They both came out to have a big brawl, and they both came out and they were both hitting each other with big kendo sticks. This fight could not be contained to inside of the ring. Basically, they fought all the way to the back of the ring, and this is where it gets really weird. I know that last year, you go back to shoot, what pay-per-view was that? It wasn't Night of Champions. It wasn't SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, somewhere around there during the summer when Dean Ambrose was having his feud with Seth Rollins after the breakup at the Shield, and Ambrose and Rollins were supposed to have a match. It ended up that Ambrose was barred from the building by Triple H because I think he didn't believe in Seth Rollins was going to be able to win the match, and he was trying to protect him at that time. It ended up being that Ambrose attacked Rollins throughout the night, throughout the back, and Rollins had to escape via car. This is basically the same thing that they were doing here in this street fight, as they jumped into a moving car in the back. Luke Harper jumped into the car, and as Ambrose was trying to get into the car, he was knocked down, and at the last second, Ambrose was able to get up, dive back into the car as Harper drove off. The referee just stood there. He didn't know what to do. I'm guessing more than likely this is a match that's going to continue later on throughout the night. Somewhere that car has to stop, and they're going to continue their fight. I'm guessing they're trying to make this a real Chicago street fight. My memory right now is thinking of the WrestleMania match between the Hollywood Backlot Brawl, Goldust and Roddy Piper. Of course, everybody knows the backstory. That was actually supposed to take place in Miami with the Razor Ramon going up against Goldust, but due to him leaving to go to WCW, it was switched. But more to come on this match once it finally gets down to coming around. But Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper, as of right now, there is no winner because the match hasn't finished yet. So, as I said, more to come. Alright, here we go. Sheamus versus Dolph Ziggler. The Kiss My Ass match just finished. Honestly, in my opinion, I really wasn't into this match this much. Sheamus took the early advantage in this match. I thought that this was basically going to be a squash to highlight Sheamus and him coming back with his big mohawk and his cornrowed beard. But ended up Ziggler was able to get a lot of offense on here. He saw him get a big bulldog off of one of the steel steps onto the outside, really taking an effect on Sheamus, but it looked like Ziggler sold the match, or sold the shot just as much as anything else. There was a lot of near falls in the match, and when Ziggler won, he won it with an inside cradle off of a slam by Sheamus. He was able to pull the tights a little bit. Sheamus was going ballistic. He was going around trying to get everybody to give their opinion on basically if Ziggler had cheated or not. And basically, Sheamus had to honor the match that he created, the Kiss My Arse match. And Ziggler was standing there in the middle of the ring, and he wanted Sheamus to kiss his ass. And it was a long time, about as long as the match was. It was the build-up to the kissing of the ass, with Ziggler telling Sheamus to pucker up, and this was the match that he created. He was the one who chose the stipulation for this. And Sheamus kept on getting ready for it and pulling away at the last minute. And you could see this coming from a mile away. It had to have been at least about the fourth time that Sheamus kept stalling and kept kneeling down. I don't think anybody cared about this, and I think everybody saw what was going to be coming. And instead of Sheamus kissing Dolph Ziggler's ass, he low-blowed him right there and followed the low blow up with a big bro kick. Everybody hates Sheamus. Everybody's, booing this guy. As Sheamus gets on the mic, he says, "You didn't think I'd really kiss your ass, especially in this stinking town." He basically rubbed Ziggler's face into his own ass, even though he was the winner. He was trying to make sure that they get the point across that Ziggler was a loser and that he wasn't going to be getting over in this one. But honestly, in my opinion, this match was a stinker. More build-up for the kissing of the ass that never happened. The build-up of a stipulation that doesn't come through always leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth. So let's get on to the next match. They're all drinking Diet Mountain Dews, talking about wrestling. I'm talking about wrestling now. Let's get on to that next one. New Day, new champs. I can't believe it. A New Day going up against Kid and Cesaro, the ultimate underdogs here. I cannot believe what we have just seen. This is a really, really big underdog come from behind kind of story. Honestly, in my mind, I thought that there was no way in the world that the New Day was going to be able to pull this off. I picked them to win the tag team championship sort of as a joke, honestly, during WrestleMania 31's pre-show when that was going to be going down. But they were able to do it. Honestly, in my mind, I thought they really came out with a lot of fire for the match. I honestly think that Cesaro was the MVP of what was going down. Basically Xavier Woods on the outside as the fiery manager was a real strong point of the match. Why are you booing? We're winning. I thought that was a Bobby Heenan line if I had ever saw one. Basically, they came into this match, they got bumped from the pre-show, put on to the real actual pay-per-view, the first time I believe since the Royal Rumble that they've been on there. And Cesaro came in there. It was ultimate domination. Natty was on the outside. Natty was looking honestly very, very hot. Cesaro, I'm glad that he's in this tag team. I'm glad that he was a tag team champion. I honestly thought that he should have been tag team champions along with Jack Swagger and the Real Americans. But he is one of the most underrated performers. He really came into this match. When him and Biggie Langston got into the ring, I knew that something was honestly going to be very, very good going down inside of that match. New Day really opens up the tag division to almost a whole lot of different things. Basically, with them being able to put Biggie Langston and Kofi in there, or Kofi and Xavier Woods, they can have a fast team, they can have a strong team, then they can have a smart team. There's lots of different combinations that they can put in there, almost like the Freebird rule from back into the day. But they were able to pull it out. They were able to squeak out a win. Honestly, I was very surprised. I'm a big fan of all three of these guys. Kofi, maybe not so much, but I'm rooting for him because of how negative competitive people are against New Day, and I'm really hoping that they can really find something and get something going. Biggie Langston is a guy that I thought by now would be going after the World Heavyweight Championship, and he just really hasn't, got to that point yet. The New Day is really something that really should have slowed him down. Definitely Kid and Cesaro is a team that's going to be looking for some sort of a comeback. They need to get back into this. There should be a rematch, more than likely on Monday Night Raw, or maybe they hold it off all the way into the next pay-per-view. But the New Day shocked the world with their big win at Extreme Rules, becoming tag team champions, something that they never thought they were going to be able to do. This pay-per-view, honestly, in my mind, is hitting on all cylinders right now. This is a very, very good show. Honestly, there's matches that I honestly really don't care about that much, but honestly, going right from the Tag Team Champions title change with a New Day, them winning the championships from Tyson Kidd and Cesaro in a very surprising fashion. We go to the back to see their, post-match interview with them chanting, "New Day, New Day," and right from there, you hear a car pull up, and Luke Harper falls to the feet of the New Day, and they immediately look down, and they tell him, "Dude, you better get up." And there the camera pans over. Dean Ambrose is standing on top of the black Escalade that has just pulled into the arena. He dives off at the top, and the fight between Luke Harper and Dean Ambrose is back on. They fight throughout the back. They fight all the way up to the entrance ramp. They go through the gorilla position. Luke Harper thinks he's escaping Dean Ambrose as he goes around the side instead of coming down the stage. And as he's turning around looking to see, Dean Ambrose dives off the stage and hits Luke Harper, and they fight their way all the way down into the ring. And once they get to the ring, they both are on different sides. They just start throwing chairs into the ring, making a huge pile in ECW fashion. Once they get into the ring, the brawl continues to the point where finally Dean Ambrose gets buried under the chairs, and you think that Luke Harper is climbing up to the top rope drop, some sort of an elbow drop, and from there it's going to be all over, and it's going to get the win. From there, once Luke Harper finally reaches the top rope, Dean Ambrose comes alive, and he's able to make a reversal onto Luke Harper, jumping off of the top turnbuckle. From there, Dean Ambrose is able to hit the Dirty Deeds onto Luke Harper, and he's able to get the 1-2-3. This is going to be a win that honestly is really going to help out Dean Ambrose. He's a guy that really hasn't gotten a lot of wins on pay-per-view as of late, and you've been able to say that he really didn't win the feud against Seth Rollins. He really didn't win the feud against Bray Wyatt. He always comes out as this guy who's a fighting guy. If you go back to Hell in the Cell, people were thinking of this guy as becoming the next Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hopefully this is going to be the beginning of Dean Ambrose gaining some momentum. We see Rusev versus John Cena up next. Hopefully this is going to be the blow-off match from there. Definitely somebody needs to step up and have a match against Daniel Bryan, or step up and take that Intercontinental Championship once it's finally stripped from him. So getting some wins under the belt on pay-per-view for Dean Ambrose really is honestly a big thing for him, and hopefully it is going to be the beginning of him moving up into something and becoming very meaningful in the future. We've seen Seth Rollins become a WWE champion. We saw Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble as well as main event WrestleMania 31. So Ambrose right now at one point was the leader of the Shield, the United States champion. Now he sort of is the guy coming from behind, the ultimate underdog, and he needs to get some wins to get something underneath him and get him going. We'll go to John Cena versus Rusev in the next match. And John Cena is still your United States champion. John Cena gets the big win in the Russian chain match against Rusev at WWE Extreme Rules 2015. What it came down to, honestly, WWE really stepped up the game with the Russian chain match. Basically with them making it a four corners, sort of slap the turnbuckles. They had a real cool thing to it. In each corner there was a green light and a red light. A green light for John Cena, a red light for Rusev, to make sure that each guy touched all four corners. Once they touched it, the light would go up, so that way you were sort of into it, because they sort of would do the thing where basically, they would start fighting, some guy would start touching some, and then they would break the momentum of the match, and you would sort of forget, had he touched that one, yes or no. But this is the first time that I've seen them do that, and John Cena and Rusev really went at it. John Cena and Rusev really gave everything they had to this match, and they made it the best. There was a point during the match when Lana got up on the ringside, and Rusev yelled at Lana. I had thought that Lana and Rusev basically had solved their problems that they had going on into Extreme Rules, that they had sort of gotten rid of that stipulation to go along with what was going on during WrestleMania and Fastlane and such, with her throwing her articles into the ring, making it do it. But Rusev sent Lana to the back, which should be a stipulation that builds up something for the story of Rusev, because now with Rusev losing to John Cena at WrestleMania and now at Extreme Rules as well, you can definitely tell that that everybody's going to be going their different directions. Cena will have a new #1 contender for the United States Championship. We've seen him have a lot of good matches, whether if it was against Dean Ambrose, Goldust, a lot of these guys coming out of the back. Kane, even on Monday, was a good match. But Cena was the guy that was able to get all the way around the ring. Cena was able to touch all 4 corners and make all 4 lights light up. There was a point when both guys were tied at 3 corners, and Rusev and Cena were having a test of strength over the chain, and Cena was able to win that test of strength. He was able to give the AA to Rusev, leaving him lying there in the middle of the ring, and then he was able to slap that turnbuckle and get the big win. Cena style. Cena gets the win in the Russian chain match. From there, he's going to have a new competitor. More than likely have a new thing starting up for John Cena on Monday. That's going to make it really good. Rusev for here, he's lost his United States Championship. He's lost his undefeated streak, and he's lost yet once again. So, lots of things coming for Rusev in the future. Have to see what he's able to pick himself up with. For a long time, he was carrying that undefeated streak, and it seemed to be, whoa, Nikki Bella wearing white. Wowzers. Wow. See what's going on Monday. Peace out. Wowzers. Right there. Nikki Bella versus Naomi. Very good Divas match. Very short. Nothing really big going on in the match. But honestly, the one thing I'm going to talk about more than anything else about this match, honestly, is going to be the entrances. Nikki came out really, really hot, dressed all in white. For some reason, Brie Bella came out in her normal Brie Bella attire. Brie mode shirt, all sequined up, but weird freaking hat on top of her head. It did not make any sense to what was going on with that at all. But then we had a new attitude, a new look, a new everything from Naomi. Naomi came walking out with some stunner shades like out of a Kanye West. She's got new entrance music. She's got new attire. She's got new gear. She's got new about everything. She's got these shoes that change color throughout the match. Very cool look for Naomi. If she's able to stay into the picture of the Divas match, the Divas, #1 contenders thing, which is going on, I thought that she was going to be taking this away. So many times when people get new gear, when they get new music, when they get just new attention put on top of them, they're walking out of there and they're going to the top of whatever they're doing at that time. But Naomi wasn't able to get the win here. Nikki was able to get the win. Nikki's going to keep the championship from here. Paige will be making her return sooner than later. And we'll see what Naomi has to do to pay for punishment for jumping and knocking her out of this match at Extreme Rules. Are they going to do a 3-way? Is Paige just going to get her shot at go at it 1-on-1? And then maybe Naomi gets involved and then they do the 3-way. Divas division looking pretty hot right now. A lot of people you're going to have to weigh in and let them know what's going to be going down. But Nikki Bella keeps the championship, and Naomi is going home a loser tonight. Nothing big here, but big improvement to Naomi. New movie. I'm sorry, new theme, new attire. Really, stand out when she comes walking out. So, thumbs up to Naomi for the big entrance tonight. Wowzers. Roman Reigns versus Big Show. I sort of relate this match a lot to The Marine. Yes, the movie with John Cena, where I said if they built a set for the Marine movie, they blew it up. And that was just about everything that went down with this match. Everything that came into play with this match, whether if it was the Spanish announce table, whether if it was the American announce table, whether if it was the tables at ringside or the tables inside of the ring, everything came to an end. Very, very weird match of Big Show breaking a table on his own with his bare fist by punching a table, a test of strength that I have never seen before inside of a wrestling match, where somebody just takes it upon themselves to break the table just by using their own physical force instead of throwing somebody through it. But this was a lot of the Brock Lesnar match from WrestleMania 31 with Roman Reigns, where they're trying to get Roman Reigns over by showing how much punishment he can actually take, with Big Show beating up on Roman for a large portion of the match, just making it play out that Big Show was a giant and that Big Show was able to muscle around and move around Roman with ease. But then there came a breaking point throughout the match when Roman Reigns sort of used his strength and as well as his speed to take down the Big Show. Big highlight of the match was a spear where Roman Reigns ran all the way around all four corners of the outside of the ring to spear Roman Reigns through the barricade. We saw the guys both fighting on top of the Spanish and the U.S. announce tables, with both guys going through them. Very, very fun match. Very, very much a big beating. If you're into the two guys just really, beating each other, and it is just showing, how much these guys could take. It was Big Show going through the Spanish announce table tonight, and then basically Roman Reigns turning the Spanish announce table over on top of Big Show to make a pretty much a big blanket for Big Show to go to sleep under, because there was no way in the world he was going to be able to dig out from underneath that pile of rubble, and it was all over Murder, She Wrote. I know that the first thing that came to my mind was this was basically how Del Rio won the World Heavyweight Championship from Big Show on an episode of SmackDown, with Big Show was laid out and they turned the Spanish announce table over, and Del Rio was able to win the last man standing match to become the champion. That way Big Show still looked strong, basically making it look like, he had to turn over a table on top of him. And then they went into, I believe that was before the Royal Rumble, the one that Rock beat CM Punk and John Cena won the Rumble. I'm not very good at remembering the years, but that led into WrestleMania 29. So that would be, I guess, 3 years ago, but that was still fresh on my mind when I saw him turning the table over. Big Show takes the loss. Roman Reigns gets the win. From here, it's rumored that he's going to move on and go to the main event of Payback in a triple threat with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns will be moving on to the main event, going up against Randy Orton and Seth Rollins, who are wrestling next in the main event steel cage match with Kane on the outside as they talk over strategy before the big match. So we'll get to that match now. I don't even know if what I just saw honestly was a match, but it was fucking awesome. Ryback versus Bo Dallas out of the middle of nowhere. Bo Dallas comes out of the back, coming down, cutting a promo on Chicago, telling its people not to shower, to save water, and stealing the no shower Steve gimmick. I don't know, you people in Chicago, y'all better shower, or you'll end up just like me. But this was a little way to get a little bit of time in between Roman Reigns and Big Show in the last man standing match, and the steel cage match between Randy Orton and Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship, of course, with Kane as the outside interference. But basically, it just got to a point where just Ryback could not take Bo Dallas anymore. Bo Dallas kept running his mouth and just kept talking and running on and on and on about a whole lot of nothing. And Ryback came out to a big entrance, a big ovation from the people of Chicago, really got behind him ever since his interview with Chris Jericho, clearing the air about the CM Punk interview. And that's pretty good too. All of these fans in Chicago, all these big CM Punk fans, all chanting for CM Punk throughout the night, trying to get themselves over instead of the people that were actually inside of the ring, and actually cheering for Ryback. They are pretty much, I guess you can say, rivals, but the burial that happened on the CM Punk Art of Wrestling with Colt Cabana. But, Ryback came down to the ring. There was no 3 count, but pretty fast, Ryback hit the shell shock for what should have been a pin, and a referee raised his hands, now that I think about it. So, pretty weird. Ryback gets the win, no pinfall, and, I guess from here, Ryback will move into the big Bray Wyatt feud, with Bray Wyatt talking about his next opponent will be a big man with muscles, and there's nobody with bigger muscles than there is with Ryback. So, we'll see what goes on with this in the future. Ryback versus Bo Dallas in the books from Extreme Rules. Oh man, what a main event. I knew that coming into this Extreme Rules 2015 honestly wasn't going to be the best show, but honestly, I had a ton of fun with everything that went down during this show, but the main event honestly really did stand up and deliver. We had Orton versus Seth Rollins in the we had Orton. Slow down. Let me give me my composure. I apologize. We had Orton versus Seth Rollins inside of the steel cage with Kane as the outside gatekeeper, making sure that J&J security and etc. would not enter the cage. Surprise, surprise. Everyone entered in the damn cage. We had J&J security trying to get in from the outside. Kane honestly wasn't on their side, trying to scare them off, and they tried to climb the gates to get into there. Randy Orton took Seth Rollins and threw him into the sides of the steel cage, making J&J security fall off the top. But finally, it got to a point when Kane knew that he was going to have to enter into the steel cage itself, and that's when Kane entered into the steel cage and went after Randy Orton. At this point, it looked like he was all pro the Authority, and he was going to be going out and helping Seth Rollins. As soon as Kane was done attacking Randy Orton, he turned his attack onto Seth Rollins, making sure that he was fair and biased, making sure that everyone knew that he wasn't for Rollins. He just was for the Authority, keeping the championship. So every time he did attack Seth Rollins, he made sure to let everyone see that he was helping him, because he is one of the most pro the guys there are. Highlights of this match include the RKO being banned. So Randy Orton took it upon himself to hit a pedigree from Triple H onto Seth Rollins in the middle of the steel cage tonight. That was probably one of the biggest surprises to come out of the whole thing. Then as Randy Orton made his way towards the gate to try and enter out of the steel cage through the door, Kane shut the door, making it where he wasn't able to get it. Seth Rollins came to try to attack Randy Orton, who is messing with Kane on the outside, trying to get him to open to the door, and at the last moment was able to move out of the way as Seth Rollins jumped to attack Randy. Randy was able to get out of the way, which bumped the cage, which made the door open and hit Kane, which Kane got pissed, and that is the point when he came in and just started attacking everybody, taking everybody out. Highlights of this match was basically a tombstone by Kane onto Randy Orton, which led to a 2 count from Seth Rollins. At that point, Kane came back into the ring to inflict more damage onto Randy Orton. At that point, Randy turned around and hit an RKO onto Kane, leaving him laying. And as he turned around to attack Rollins, Rollins hit Randy Orton with an RKO of his own, stealing everybody's finishers in this match. That led to Seth Rollins crawling his way out of the ring to sneak out and still be the champion. And from here, it seems that they're definitely setting themselves up for some sort of a rematch. With the RKO as the main stipulation of being banned, the announcers are debating on the outside. Was it just banned for Randy Orton? Was it banned for the entire match? That is what leads you to watch Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. It should be a good one with the Authority. I'm guessing that they're going to rule in favor of Seth Rollins, but maybe there might be a clear and non-partisan thing that they can sort of say that there has to be a rematch because there was no clear-cut winner and the rules were not followed. We'll have to go back and rewind the tape to say if that Randy Orton was banned from using the RKO or if the RKO was banned. Everything that I read said RKO banned in this match, not Randy Orton is banned from using the RKO. So we're going to have to see if it's a technicality or what comes down. But Seth Rollins escapes the cage as the champion. Moving on from here on out. Good show tonight, guys. Thumbs up, WWE. Thank you very much. WWE Network knocked one out of the park again with Extreme Rules 2015.